got mail.
Oh my god. I don't believe my eyes. Why would they do that? I'm serious, what the Federation thinking? Bye-bye, World Cup 2026. Bye-bye, Indonesians. Go home. Go home. Glory to the gods. We are going to see so much Indonesian suffering this year. I can't wait for 2025.
인도네시아 축구 역사상 가장 놀라운 업적을 써내려가던 신태용 감독이 경질되고 클라위베르트 감독이 새로 선임된 건 해외에서도 화제가 되었습니다. 특히 동남아 축구의 라이벌 국가인 베트남의 축구 유튜버 마크웰은 이에 대한 재미있는 반응을 보여주었습니다. 그는 월드컵 아시아 3차 예선이 진행 중인 지금 놀라운 성적을 기록하고 있는 신태용 감독의 경질이 믿어지지 않는다고 말하면서 인도네시아 축구협회의 결정이 이해가 되지 않는다고 말했습니다. 그리고 클라위베르트 감독이 선임된 이유는 따로 있다고 말하며 그 이유를 밝혔고 급기야 인도네시아의 월드컵 본선 진출 탈락을 외쳤는데요. 신태용 감독 경질에 대한 해외 반응 함께 살펴보시겠습니다.
Dude, it's not even been 2 weeks since the last video, and I have never felt more vindicated in my life. 2025 is off to a great start. The year is 2019. Indonesia find themselves suffering in World Cup 2022 qualifiers, and after a loss to hated rivals Malaysia, they sacked their shambolic coach at the end of the year. In his place comes Korean Shin Tae-yong. Shin Tae-yong previously had coached the South Korean team during the 2018 World Cup, where his defensive masterclass triumphed against reigning champions Germany. Although there was a lot of promise, success wasn't immediate for Shin Tae-yong. However, come the 2020 AFF Cup, Shin Tae-yong led a young Indonesian side to the final. Sure, the team may have come up short for the 6th time, but Shin was getting the best out of this core of talent. Under his guidance, Indonesia, a little over a year later, would qualify for the Asian Cup for the first time since 2007, and he'd also achieve a runners-up finish in the U23 AFF Cup. Now come 2024, things really start to come together. With the addition of a ton of naturalized players of Indonesian descent, Shin Tae-yong led Indonesia to the last 16 of the Asian Cup for the first time ever. The Garuda team then beat Vietnam twice in World Cup qualifiers to advance to the third round, where so far they've collected some solid results, including a huge 2-0 upset for Saudi Arabia, and currently sit third in their qualification group, albeit they're tied with like 4 other teams. However, the year ended pretty poorly when in the most recent AFF Cup, Shin Tae-yong's men crashed out of their group after losing to a basketball country. The main reason is because the country decided not to call up most of their senior players to save them for World Cup qualifiers. But that said, it was one hiccup in the Shin Tae-yong reign, and I mean, these guys always talk about how they're better than AFF, even though they've never won the trophy, and that World Cup qualifiers are much more important, so this shouldn't be much of a big deal.
You've got mail.
Oh my god. I don't believe my eyes. Why would they do that? I'm serious, what the Federation thinking? Well, I suppose that the PSSI has a plan. Maybe this will make more sense. I mean, there were rumors of Erik ten Hag. Wait, who they hired? You had the world in the palm of your hands and you gave it away to a guy who can barely scrape results against Caribbean islands. Away this job to someone simply because they showed up on Christmas Day, because they had nothing else better to do on Christmas Day in the middle of a World Cup qualification campaign. Oh my god, I'm actually speechless. Why the hell would they sack Shin Tae-yong? He took this team out of the trenches. The literal trenches. This team was closer to 200th than it was 100th. He's contributed so much to the national team. Is the reason why they're even in this spot to begin with. And also, Indonesia just beat Saudi Arabia 2 months ago. Okay, let's calm down for a second. And let's just ask ourselves this question. Why the hell did they do this? What was the reasoning behind this, I guess? We see the need for a leader who is able to implement the strategies agreed upon by the players and who has better communication, said Chairman Eric Torre regarding Shin's sacking. Better able to implement the strategies agreed upon by the players. Because yeah, Giving the players more control over the coach has always worked really well. I don't really get it though, because sure, Shin's gotten it wrong, but are we just kind of forgetting that coaches make mistakes? Especially since A, he's inexperienced in this type of competition, and B, so is his literal squad? Are we also just gonna forget that Indonesia are third in their group? The more I think about it, the more it just doesn't make any sense. And speaking of the performances so far, how dumb do you have to be to sack a manager, not even results related, in the middle of a qualification campaign? This might be worse than the stuff United pulled. When it comes to the communication part of Torreira's statement, we all know what that means. For those of you who don't know, Patrick Kluivert is Dutch, and if you remember, there's a lot of naturalized players from the Netherlands on this team. And I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of people say that this is the Netherlands 2.0. I disagree. This is the Dutch East Indies. This country has allowed itself to be recolonized. Also, sacking your most successful coach for someone who might have a better style fit for the squad is very risky. And again, doing this in the middle of a qualification campaign where you were already performing quite well is even more risky. Take it from a Viet who literally went from the success of Park Hang-seo, defensive, very physical identity, to Trussier, who gave us, well, he tried to give us some attractive attacking football, I guess. And that shit did not work at all. Because here's the thing. Coaches can come and implement their styles pretty quickly, but great coaches can instill a whole culture and identity, and those come very rarely. And I just can't see that in a guy who's lasted maybe just a little over a year in most of the jobs he's had. As someone who literally hates this national team, I am flabbergasted. I am trying to figure out how, why would they do this? And going back to the quote, better able to implement the strategies agreed upon by the players, it just still doesn't really sit with me. Let's just think of this logically for a second, because this squad is mostly naturalized players. If you let naturalized players with zero experience in qualifiers influence the coaching decisions, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Which can only make me think maybe the players didn't like Shin Tae-yong, but that also wouldn't make a lick of sense because there were so many heartfelt posts from a lot of players after his sacking. Oh, but what about Mark Klopp? He said that the language barrier was really difficult. I don't give a what Mark Klopp says, and I'm sure pretty much the entirety of Indonesia doesn't care either. Something just makes me think this goes deeper than just language barrier or tactics. Maybe something to do with the Federation, perhaps. This is very much going to be theory here, right? I could be onto something, or maybe I could be talking straight out my ass. But I'm going to go out and say that this decision was made because the Federation wanted to increase its profits. They hired Patrick Kluivert, man. I refuse to believe this was on sporting merit. I mean, let me show you that tweet again. But the thing is, Patrick Kluivert is a legend. I think the only reason he was actually brought in was just to attract more Dutch-born players. Because more than ever, there have been rumors about Indonesia trying to capture even higher quality European talents, like Mitchell Bakker, for example. And maybe I'm wrong on this end, but the more European players that are brought in, especially if they're higher quality talent, the more likelihood of commercial deals and etc. Which is great for the Federation. Not so great for other aspects of Indonesian football though. The league will probably be neglected even more, and dear God, if it's any sign that Indonesian football is still in the gutter, look at the team that crashed out of that AFF Cup. Those guys are literally the next level after the senior team. And there should not be that big of a difference between the two. Alright. Bye-bye, World Cup 2026. Bye-bye. Indonesians, go home. Go home. Wait, hold on. We have a green screen. 1, 2, 3. Bali! Seeing Indonesian social media explode over the last few days has been so much fun to watch from afar, knowing what we just accomplished a few days ago. I mean, I think it really says a lot when on the welcome post for Patrick Kluivert, you will see people saying, Patrick out, already. It's like Christmas just returned. I don't know, man. Glory to the gods. We are going to see so much Indonesian suffering this year. I can't wait for 2025. Well, what do you guys think? Is Indonesia fucked? Or will they actually salvage something out of this? Let me know. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you want, follow my Instagram if you like, you can follow my Twitch as well. Once I'm actually in my new place, I hope to stream a little bit more. But until then, I'll see you guys. Di me Indonesia!